Hello and welcome to Ultra Instinct Tarot. Welcome to this week's Pick a Card reading. For this week, we are featuring 4 very strong characters from the Dragon Ball universe. Let's go. Oh, yeah. For card number 1, we have the Great Goku. Your option number 2 is the Saiyan Prince Vegeta. Your option number 3 is the Great Android 18. And your 4th option is Super Saiyan Gohan. Now, don't think about it too much. Rely on your instincts. Just choose whichever one you feel gravitated towards, and I will see you in your reading. Hello! If you chose Son Goku, welcome to your reading. Take a seat. Sit back and relax. There's nothing for you to do except to relax. So we are starting with card number 12. We got Stanley in the house. I really love this card. This is a special type of energy. You know, this is a Goku type of energy. Yeah, Goku embodies this type of energy. You know, Goku likes getting stronger just for himself, really, right? Like, he just likes getting stronger. He's not getting stronger to impress other people, right? He gets stronger because he wants getting stronger. He wants to get stronger. He wants to be the strongest. He likes going up against strong enemies, right? He enjoys it. He has fun with it. He doesn't get worried or nervous whenever a new, stronger enemy comes up, right? He gets excited. He's like, oh, now I can push myself even further. I can get even stronger than I used to be. Right? He sets goals for himself. And Stanley did the same in this card, in this scene. This is when Dunder Mifflin, they were doing a challenge to see which branch could lose the most weight, right? So they were getting weighted as a group, and then every week, and see how much weight they lost. And so the whole branch was doing this, right? The whole branch was trying to lose weight, and it was all for vacation days, right? For the reward of their branch being the one to win the most weight, right? They were doing it for not necessarily for themselves. They were doing it for those vacation days, for that reward, right? They weren't doing it because they wanted to lose weight. The focus was on the reward. Everyone, right, eventually started eating cake because it was Phyllis's birthday. Everyone except for Stanley. Stanley was the only one that didn't want to eat the cake because he was losing weight. He had the same goal as everyone else, but his goal wasn't the reward. His goal was to lose weight. He said he lost some of his fire and he wanted some of that fire back. So he was, not taking the elevator. He was walking up and down the stairs when nobody was looking, right? He was getting stronger when nobody was looking. That's important, right? Because usually a lot of people, mostly everything they do is to impress other people, is to look good in front of other people, But once in a while, you get some people with some certain type of energy, and they do it for the love of the game, right? So they do these amazing things for the love of the game because they love doing it, not just love the reward. So lift up your hands here, just like Stanley, because you are doing this not just for the reward, but you're doing it because it is something that you want to do, because you want to better yourself. You want to be better. This type of energy also reminds me of Luffy during the time skip, right? He said he's like, I'm gonna be selfish, right? And I am going to take a 2-year break, and I am going to get stronger. I will get stronger. I'm going to train hard every day because there's no way he's gonna lose someone close to him ever again. So that was his selfishness, was that he wanted to take a break. He wanted to take a hiatus. He wanted to take 2 years to get stronger so that he was able to protect the ones around him. So see, like in Luffy's, right, he is doing it for the people around him, right? But he is doing it for himself because he wants to protect those people around him, right? See, this isn't about the reward of looking good, looking stronger in front of his crew. No, he's getting stronger because he wants to get stronger. He wants to be king of the pirates, right? Again, he wants to be the best, just like Goku wanted to be the strongest and the best. And that's what they want. They don't want the reward of looking good in front of people. They want the reward of being the best. They want the reward of losing the weight, right? So there is no cheating, person. There is no cheating when what they want is, the thing that they are doing. So, right, how cool is that? So another way, a way you can relate this to yourself, right, if you're having trouble relating that to yourself, is like me with these videos, right? I could do these videos for the reward, for the money, or I could do it for the love of the game because I love doing these videos. I love getting better at doing these videos. I am finding the love for editing, right? Editing is getting really fun, and I would like to keep learning how to edit, keep learning how to do various things. I got this cool little green. It's a green screen, but green screens are expensive. So I literally just went to Walmart and got some green fabric. And that's what I'm using for a green screen. This is $5, or I think it was $3 actually. This $3 piece of fabric that is green, and because that's what the important thing is, right? So I'm doing the best that I can and getting better slowly and doing it for the love of the game because I really enjoy doing this. And out of a bunch of things, I would like to do this instead of being a slave to someone else or going and fighting in a war and killing people. I'm good. I would like to just, have my little space where I can do these readings that might help people, that might help people get to see a different side of life, a different perspective, a more fun, Luffy, Goku type of perspective of because we deserve it. The world is very gloomy, very dark right now, and we deserve to have a good, a better, happy life, to where everyone is having fun and chasing their dreams, right? That's what the One Piece is all about. That's what Dragon Ball is all about. That's what a lot of these animes are all about. And I'm a big believer that you can learn more about yourself and about being like Jesus by watching anime. You can learn a lot more by watching anime than by going to church every Sunday. Church every Sunday is just repetition of words, but anime is people's own perspective on the Jesus character, right? The one character, the Naruto character, the Luffy type character, the Goku type of character, right? We can learn a lot more on how to be that type of person, how to be the best type of person that we can be. And we can learn a lot more from anime by going to church every Sunday. Okay, the Chariot. All right, I hope that long rant got you there quickly, right? Queen of Pentacles. Take care of yourself. Okay, this feels like, because the Queen is the mother, right? The Mother Nature side of things, right? The mom side of things, not the dad. The dad side of things sets rules, sets guidelines, sets boundaries. The Queen includes everything, right? Because she takes care. She is the egg, has the potential of being anything that ever exists, right? That is the mom, the side of everything. And we are in the Pentacles, which is I would like to say the human side of things, right? So we have a soul part of ourselves, an invisible part of ourselves, right? And then we have a visible part of ourselves, the one we can see. So the fire cards are more about that soul, is trying to explain what our soul part of ourselves is like. And the pentacles explore our human part of ourselves, right? The pentacles are things you can see, abundance, right? Things you have, you know. The soul is invisible, right? The fire is eternal. It moves. All it does is move, right? Queen of Pentacles, the hard substance. You know, when you become this person, you are this person. You know, you kind of, the pattern remains in there and stays. And there's, even though I'm changing and then growing, there is a pattern to me, right? A pattern that doesn't really change. And that's the me, that's the human part of the pentacle, the part that you can see, right? So say energy, the soul part, decides to become a rock. Well, down here, you're going to be a rock. You're going to stay in that pattern of being a rock. And you don't really change, right? You can be formed a little with nature, with wind and water, right? If you're a rock, but you're going to still be a rock. Right, there's not movement. There's not much movement like a fire. There's all movement. A soul is movement. Soul can be anything that it wants to be. The human part, we are who we are. Kind of energy, right? So the Queen of Pentacles, this is the nurturing mother of the human part of you, right? Because, right, we could see the soul part of us seeing this human game, right? Because we are eternal. The human part of us might keep dying over and over again, but there's something that lives on. So if there is something that lived on, imagine knowing that information, right? Imagine the next time that you became a human, knowing that you, even though you die, you don't really die, you can keep coming back. So now imagine the world of Westworld. I don't know if you've seen that show, but I highly 10 out of 10 recommend watching Westworld. It's about these rich people, right, that pay a lot of money, and they go into this world. And in this world, there's no people in this world except for the ones that pay them to play, right? But there are a bunch of robots, and those robots look very human, like they look just like people. But, I mean, if you kill these robots, I mean, they can just be reset for the next day. You don't really kill them. So it's a way for these rich people to go and let off some steam, right? If they have a bunch of anger and they want to go on a killing spree, well, they can safely do it in this Westworld where, you know, sure, things die, but they can just be reset, and they're going to be there again the next day, right? Imagine it's the same way with you, right? And this human part, the soul is the one outside, the one that is playing this game, the one that knows that, you know, humans are more like robots who, even though they die, they can just be reset because the next day, and they'll be there the next lifetime, the next day, the next go around, right? So see, the soul part of can see it that perspective, and they can go a little crazy, right? They probably wouldn't see going on a killing spree as bad, right? Because they're not technically killing anything. They are just, you know, I mean, it's the things that they kill are able to reset back the next day. The NPCs, you could say them as, right? And so that is like a soul perspective that could be seen, right? But if we saw that as a human perspective, then we're like, no, we die. You know, human perspective is, we don't know if we do keep going, right? Even though the soul part says, yeah, I mean, it's very clear, obvious, of course you keep going. But the human side doesn't know that. So the human side gets scared. So the soul side could choose a bunch of these crazy adventures, crazy things to happen to the human part of himself, because, you know, he's going to be fine at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you know, life is going to be like, yeah, but I know all that sucked, but did you die? Right? But if you see it as a human perspective, well, I want to feel safe at the same time. I want some nurturing. I don't want to just be, you know, on a roller coaster ride my entire life. I want some pattern. I want some things to be repetitive for me to know some things and be a little comfortable still at the same time, right? So, yeah, imagine taking care. This is like the taking care of your human side. So if we go back to like someone like Jesus, right? Well, he sacrificed himself. Yeah, sure, it was cool that he did it for people, you know, and he really wanted to do it, you know, he did it for people. But at the same time, if you know, why sacrifice yourself? Like, like, let's take care of yourself as well. Even though you know, Jesus knew that the human side of him, he knew he would keep going and he wouldn't die, you know, but he thought that if he did this thing, that it might help people, right? And he said, well, Sure, it might sound like something really heavy and bad, but at the end of the day, life is gonna ask him, but did you die? He kept going, right? But I would take that lifetime as not taking care, not being the Queen of Pentacles, not taking care of his human self, his human part. That's more of the soul view of things and soul decisions being made, right? If we saw it from a human perspective, it's like, no, why would I sacrifice myself? I got to take care of myself as well as take care of other people around me, right? So let's take care of the people around me in a way where I don't have to sacrifice myself, because I deserve to follow my dreams just like all of these wonderful main characters, right? So it's like this, like Stanley, like he's got to be able to take care of himself as well, not just the people around him. And this Queen of Pentacles really takes care of your human side. So imagine having a lifetime to where it's more your soul making the decisions, and then imagine a lifetime to where it's more your human side making decisions. Your soul side says you don't need a bunch of material things. You can be who you are without all of those material things, right? The human side says, hey, having material things is fun. It's kind of fun to have things and, put meaning behind these things that are meaningless but are important to us, and that's what matters, right? That's kind of the Queen of Pentacles, taking care of your human side, taking care of the things that you can see, right? The soul, you can't see the soul. The soul is used to not being able to, or not having things to see. So the soul doesn't feel like it needs many material things, because, that's not where it came from. It came from not having things. But imagine a cool combination of both, right? And that's what I think everyone is trying to tackle, or everyone should be trying to tackle, even though we don't know that's what we're trying to tackle. I think that's really what everybody's trying to tackle, our soul part of ourselves and our human part of ourselves, right? The black and the white. Humans would be like the devil part, the souls would be the God part, right? But both are very much needed. Sometimes, just like seasons, winter is needed just as much as summer. And imagine how fast and how much fun you can have if you include both, right? That's what this chariot is saying. The chariot, the way I describe the chariot is by walking two dogs. I don't know if you've ever walked two dogs, but if you compare it to walking one dog, well, walking one dog is so much easier. Walking one dog is just, you and the dog follow each other, whatever you want, right? But when you have two dogs, now imagine one dog wants to go this way, the other dog wants to go that way. Well, it's kind of hard to walk the dogs because they both want to go separate directions. So you kind of don't do anything. You kind of don't move. You kind of be stagnant, right? Just like Dunder Mifflin eventually became stagnant and stopped, doing the things that they were doing at the beginning to lose weight, because they didn't want to lose weight. They wanted the reward. So the chariot. I lost my train of thought, and I think that's okay. I think things are making sense, right? Well, when both dogs are on the same page, imagine how fast you go. That's where my point was heading. I think I got sidetracked over here, and then my focus started going over here. So I think my mind was like, let's go back to the chariot. Let's go back to being on the same page. Let's go back to telling them that when you walk two dogs and the two dogs are going the same way instead of being opposite ways, then you start zooming right towards adventure, right towards the thing you need, right towards the reward, right? So we want to take care of our human self as much as our soul part of ourself, and we want to make decisions regarding both. So that also includes like your mind and your heart, your emotions, right? Your emotions and your logic. So, just by listening to your emotions, you're not going to make the best decisions. Just by listening to logic, you're not going to make the best decisions. It's a good idea to listen to both. The Rebel. Transformation. Wow. A lot of major arcana cards, a lot of big things are happening. A lot of so the way I like to explain the major arcana cards and the minor arcana cards are again, we're talking about the soul self and the human part of ourselves, right? So the minor arcana is that human part of the tarot, of ourselves, the things that we are in control over, like walking. right? Like the things that we are in control over is the human part of ourselves. Anything that we do, anything that takes time, right? Just like I was talking about walking, you don't really learn how to walk just like that. It takes time. You fall down over and over and over again until you finally figure it out, right? Say with any sport too. That's why people practice, right? Any instrument, people practice because you got to do it over and over and over again to set that pattern, right? Humans are all about patterns. Set that pattern so you can get better and better at it, right? So you do things over and over and over again until you can understand it and, be good at it. That is the human part of ourselves, the minor arcana part of ourselves, right? Things we do over and over and over again until we get it, until we understand it, and until we get good at it. Now, major arcana cards are things that happen to us, things that we are not in control over, things that, like transitions in life, things that when life is making its move, because we aren't in control over everything. There are things that happen to us that we aren't in control over, and that's kind of what the major arcana cards are. The things that are bigger than us, right? If we are in the 2D world, these would be the 3D things. So since we are in a 3D world, we could see the major arcana as like the 4D things, the things that are bigger than us, the things that that we can't really see, that we can't really understand. Just like trying to explain to a 2D person, what a ball is. It's that kind of deal. Or like yeah. Cool, the rebel. So we were just talking about 2D, 3D, right? Imagine the 2D just being chained up in just the 2D, right? We would know how that is, us being 3D people. So imagine a 2D unlocking a 3D. It's like breaking the chains. Hey, you can go one dimension higher now, right? So now imagine 3D people. Say 40 people see us the same way. We are stuck in the 3D. We are stuck in the chains, right? We are stuck in the matrix. You could say it that way too. But there's more. There's more. And when you explore them more, that's you breaking the chains. That's you learning something different, to the rebel, being free from that human pattern, This place teaches us a lot, but there's always more. And if we think that we already learned everything that we could, well, you're pretty wrong. Right? Life is eternal, so there's an eternity of things, an eternal number of things that we can learn. All right? And imagine the transformation from going to a 2D to a 3D, and same with 3D to a 4D. Right? It's like Goku going Super Saiyan. It is like this feels like that. Yeah, Stanley celebrating that he's still losing weight, even though everybody else started gaining weight again. Transformation. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Imagine going from the soul perspective and then being human, and then imagine how much the soul's decisions are going to be changed, right? After experiencing that human part, saying, "Oh, I don't know if I want to experience all of that again," or and then the transformation of things being, I don't know, just changing, different, seeing things from a different perspective, and then being able to make different decisions, right? After seeing things and understanding things from a different perspective. Cool. I am talking a lot in this one. I wonder what the time is. This is my first time looking at the clock. Oh, 22 minutes. Okay, cool. See, I like this. I don't think, hasn't felt like 22 minutes has passed by, All right. I feel a lot of energy. I feel hype right now. I'm talking fast. I'm talking a lot. This isn't normal for me. Cool. We got number 4. We got number 4 here. Cool. We start with the 1. We end with the 1. Ace of Discs. Cool. Remember how we were talking about the nurturing, the mother, the queen part of it, the egg part of it, the potential part of it, the one that literally includes everything, right? The egg. That's what this ace cards are for. It is like the god cards of the suits. The queen and mom, the creating anything. It can potential energy. It can be literally be created into anything that it wants to be. And we are in the disc, the pentacles. So cool. So now I'm going back to the soul. Imagine choosing its experiences, and now after the human experience, imagine how different his decisions will be after a couple experiences as being human, right? And this is the disc part of that being human. So imagine the potential after transforming, and imagine all of the new stuff that humans create, right? Because we are made in the image of God, and if God is a creator, that means that we are creators, and we are creators, right? We just create a bunch of dumb stuff sometimes, but we also create a bunch of cool stuff sometimes. So now imagine the soul being human for the first time and seeing all of these new creations that it wasn't used to before, right? Imagine all of the things that soul can see now, can create now, all of these thoughts, I mean, we come here and there's no dragons outside, but people, created and imagined dragons, imagined dragons just by being here, even though there's no dragons outside that we know of, but they were able to create dragons. And look at all this other cool stuff. I mean, Dragon Ball was created. I mean, it's not anywhere out in the world, but a soul became a human and ended up creating this Dragon Ball that the soul would have never created if it never became a human, right? Luxury, 4 of Cups. The 4 is the nothing materializing into something, and so the cups are of the emotions. So imagine not there being nothing, and then you being a human, and all of these emotions are being materialized now. Interesting. I wonder if Adam and Eve, if they didn't experience emotions, I wonder if because after they ate the apple, right, then they became embarrassed and covered themselves because they saw that they were naked. So they experienced embarrassment pretty much after the apple, but before they didn't feel embarrassed. So I'm wondering if they felt other feelings as well, right? Did they feel love before or not? Like, I wonder what they felt then if they didn't, knew. You know what I'm trying to say here? So this is, imagine the soul not having feelings. You think the feelings come from the human side of us? But they say God is love, right? Love is an emotion, is it not? Or is love a way of being? Because that would be different. But then again, emotions, right? I say I am angry, so that means I embody angry. It's not that angry takes over me. I am angry. I am anger, right? I turn into anger. Okay, I hope that helped. All right. There's a peek inside my brain of how sometimes things happen. So I'm gonna get some last bit of advice here from the office. Oracle deck, yay! 21. Why say a lot word when few word do trick? Okay. All right. You set a goal for yourself, and that's cool. Take care of that human self just as much as that soul self. Take care of yourself just as much as you take care of the ones around you. Cool. Few word do trick. 8. Triumph. This is the triumph of the human body. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna read my little thing that I wrote for this card, because this is a perfect way to, why say a lot of words when few word do trick. This literally rounds out this 20-something minute. I don't usually do readings this long, but I felt like talking. I'm comfortable with talking this much, but I did this time. So thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for letting me explore something new. This is me transforming. All right, so Michael has a triumph over the human body. It says, conquer that human body. Make it move. Go on a run, dance, lift weights, do yoga, do Flongerton. I have a spelling mistake that I never noticed until now. Then when your body is yelling at you that it can't move anymore, you make it move again. So in this scene, right, Michael, they were doing the fun run, and he was laying on the ground exhausted because he ate chicken Alfredo right before the race for some reason. And he couldn't keep going any longer, right? He gave up. But then he didn't give up, and he got up and he kept going. And when he thought he couldn't go any longer, he got up and he kept going, and he finished. And this relates to anything in our lives, not just exercise. Our human bodies are wondrous machines, right? Our soul came here and to learn the human ways because, you know, human ways have things to teach as well. Just like when parents have a kid, right? Most parents think it's their job to teach the kid. But no, that's not their job. Their job is also to learn from their kid. Their kid actually can teach them some stuff. But some parents, they don't think they can learn anything from their kid. They think their kid is the one that needs to do as they say and think the way they think, and that that is the best. But no, it goes both ways. It goes both ways, right? The soul can learn from the human body, and the body can learn from the soul. Yeah, I think that's it for you. Thank you all so much for being here, and especially if you finished till the end, thank you. I hope this reading helped. If it did, please help me as well with a like. Please comment on anything that was said, any comments, any concerns that you have, or just anything that you would like to talk about. And subscribe if you would like to keep hanging out. I'm gonna keep posting videos, keep trying to learn, and just keep bettering ourselves, right? For the sake of bettering ourselves, for the sake of the love of the game. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Hello! If you chose Vegeta, welcome to your reading. Take a seat. Sit back and relax. There is nothing that you need to do other than to just relax and listen to what's going on here. So, number 11. Right, 11 says make a wish. Here's another one. There's 3 ones already. So this is the beginning of something. This feels like you getting your reward, and a new adventure with this reward begins. Right? This is Stanley. Cool. Stanley made it into both. Made it into the first reading as well. But this is life. This is the universe. Quoting Stanley Hudson. Sorry. Quoting Stanley Hudson saying, "Did I stutter?" So I wonder what this is talking about. But so this is literally the universe saying, "Did I stutter?" So something big is happening. Something big that's going to make you think twice. But not think twice in a bad way. Think twice as in, is this really happening? And life is saying, did I stutter? Of course it's happening, bitch. Cool. So we are starting in rest mode. I told you there's nothing you need to do but chill and relax, sit down. The Hierophant. Okay, this is the universe saying, did I stutter? Okay, we went backwards, but in order, right? Number 4, number 5. Okay, going backwards is sometimes going forwards. Stagnation is sometimes movement. It is movement into... It's still movement, right? We're still going to get to the number 5. So this Hierophant, he understands. He is the teacher. He is the one that can see things in a different way that other people can't. So he helps other people to see things in his perspective, to try to because his perspective helps to understand the thing, right? So these people don't understand. This guy understands, and he's trying to teach them so that because they want to understand. Yeah, and so sometimes rest happens so that movement can happen. Sometimes rest is this teacher guy. Okay, rest. What can rest teach you? Did I stutter? Right? What can rest teach you? Yeah, what can we learn from rest? We especially nowadays where everybody's a slave and it's all about work. Now all the time. Right? It's don't spend any time at home. You got to spend your time at work, and you can't cheat your company. Right? You got to be working. Right? That's so this rest thing being a good thing feels like it's not even in the dictionary. That it's not even in the vocabulary, that people can't understand nowadays, right? Because everything that people are being taught right now is work, and you are worthless if you aren't working, being a slave, right? That's how my family sees me. Right? I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to work for other people, right, all the time, just to literally make the bare minimum that is one is able to do to survive, because everything is so expensive, right? Rent is a bunch of money. Houses are a bunch of money, so you have to get a loan. Normal people, it's normal for people to get loans for a house. How is that normal? How is it normal that the thing everybody needs is so expensive that the normal person can't afford it, other than by being a slave for 30 plus years? Like, that makes no sense to me. Okay, so rest, right? Rest is good. Not 30 years of slaving around just to be able to have a house. That is not good, right? Rest is good. Chilling is good. Goku and Vegeta say the same thing. The rest is good, right? They rest. They eat. They have a good time. Yeah, they train a lot, but rest is just as important. So what can rest teach you? What can stillness teach you? What can non-movement teach you? And I don't know if even people know what stillness is, because everybody sucks at meditating. I know that by experience, because I have anxiety, right? So my mind is working all the time. It's just thinking all the time. So but I felt it. I've noticed what the stillness is. I just don't hang out there all the time, right? Because my pattern, I'm used to seeing things the other way, as in like thinking all the time, right? So that's my natural state. But just because it's my natural state doesn't mean it's a good state, good natural state to have, right? We can always change what our natural state is. And the best natural state is where this Hierophant lives. He lives in the land of the sixes. He lives in the center. He lives like if in the Wheel of Fortune, right? That's a big wheel. He is the point in the middle of the wheel. The wheel goes around and around and around, but this Hierophant stays. He is who he is, right? He stays in the middle. And even though there's a bunch of movement, the Hierophant is always going to be who he is. And I don't know why I'm explaining this. I'm just talking about the Hierophant. But I forgot what the point, why I was talking about the Hierophant that way. Rest, stillness, cool. Adventure postponement. Okay, this is more stillness energy. That's cool. Adventure is pointing at this postponement. So, why would it be a good thing to postpone adventure? Because of work? No. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, see, that's are you postponing adventure and feeling like a kid because of work? See, this is why I hate adults, and why I hate adults that bash on you for not wanting to be an adult. Like, no adult is happy. I don't meet happy adults. I meet a bunch of happy, hypocritical adults who pretend they're happy, but all they do is complain, but they don't notice how unhappy, that's their normal state, right? See, it's their natural state is just to complain because they hate their lives, right? Like I hate how, like, in movies and stuff and in shows, like it's so normal to make fun of your wife, to say, oh, how I want to be away from my wife, like, what? That makes no sense. How is that a natural state to want to be away from your best friend, from the one you're supposed to be most in love with, when you want to adventure life with, but you really just want to be golfing with your buddies? Like, it's cool to be golfing with your buddies. Is she not part of your buddies? What's good? What are wives good for then? Are wives really just good for just making babies? That's all they're good for? And then you're supposed to only have fun with your buddies while you're drinking golf? No. What? That makes no sense to me. Postponement. Adventure. Feeling like a kid. Why I hated adults. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, and adults are. Why do kids become adults? I don't understand. That's literally just adults are just an excuse to for you to, get taken advantage of and made turned into a slave. Adults are just slaves. Like adults should be kids as well. The kids, it's all just made up words. Kids becoming adults, and a kid is made up word. Adult is a made up word, but it's always you. You're always you. Do you really change that much? You grow, but you are you. So that little kid in you doesn't just automatically get died off, and you become an adult, and now you transform into this serious person who needs to work, and the only thing that you can think about is money, and to have money and to be able to survive, and oh no, I need more money. Oh, more money. Oh no, more work. Oh no, I don't have enough money again. Like that's not an adventure. That doesn't sound fun. Adults shouldn't be taken advantage of just because they're older, right? Adults should be able to have the freedom to become a kid, to have adventures, to paint if they want to paint, to be still if they want to be still, to rest if they need rest. Why postpone? It's like with me wanting to do this YouTube channel and wanting to deciding to not be a slave, deciding to not work for a company and just have to do everything that I'm told. I wanted some freedom. I wanted to live adventure. And my parents told me, well, you can do that. You can do all your projects that you want to work on, all your things that you would like to do after you work. You have to get a job first and then be stable. And then you can, make a restaurant or do whatever it is you want to do. But I'm like, that's just sounds like you want me to turn into a slave and be stuck again because there's no everything, the cost of everything is going higher, though everyone is getting more taken advantage of. And I know that if I start working as a slave now, I'm not going to be able to save up any money because I'm going to have to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for that. Why postpone? Why finally start adventuring and having fun when I'm 60, right, and not be able to move much when I can do it now? Postponing adventure, postponing feeling like a kid, postponing doing what it is you love is stupid, because that just means you're never, tomorrow doesn't come. It's always now. It's always the present day, right? And you keep saying tomorrow I'll do what I love. Tomorrow I'll have fun. Tomorrow I'll go on an adventure. But you're gonna be saying that every day, and I didn't want to be stuck in that, and I didn't want to postpone life being this way. I don't want to turn my life black and white, because it already was turning black and white. I was already doing the college thing. I was already doing the intern thing. I was already, I was enjoying meeting new people and doing new things, but I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. Do the one thing for the rest of my life, right? I was enjoying doing new things and experiencing new things while I was in school, but I don't want to just do that one thing for the rest of my life now. That's weird. That's different. That's not at all what we were taught as kids. As kids, we're taught to do sports and then go learn an instrument and then go learn some math. Let's learn all these new things. But as soon as you're out of school, now it's time to just do one thing for the rest of your life that you most likely don't enjoy, right? And you have to be away from your family and loved ones, and make sure you work most of your life. Like, no, that's not how life should be. 10 of discs. Interesting. What is wealth to you? Is wealth having that pattern, having that job, that safe job that you hate, that brings you money though, and gets you a house? Sure, it's not might be yours. You might be renting or paying off a loan, but at least you have a place to live, right? Even though you have to not spend time in it and spend time at work and go keep doing things that you don't enjoy. Is that wealth to you? What is wealth to you? Or is wealth having the freedom to be able to paint, when you want to paint? I don't have a lot of money right now, but I don't have a lot of things right now, but I am still at least doing some of the things that I love, and learning new things. I enjoy reading still. I enjoy just learning. I enjoy learning, and I don't want to stop learning. I feel like as soon as I would have graduated and started working as a mining engineer, that's what I would have learned, just mining engineering stuff, but I wouldn't have learned new things. That would be me for the rest of my life, and I don't really want that. To me, wealth is, learning new things, and then you learn it and learn another new thing. I have projects that I would like to do and have fun with, and it's just a bunch of new things that I would like to do. That would be wealth to me. Have the freedom to be able to do what I want, but I need money to do that as well, right? So that's why I'm also doing this. I'm trying to find new ways to better my relationship with money, so that I can have the freedom to still buy everything that I need. It works. It's gonna work. 3 discs pattern, because everything happens in threes. What works for you? If this life, right, it works for you, then fine. But if you are feeling like this person and feeling like there is no color to life anymore, there is no joy, there is no adventure, and you want that, well, I suggest you go after it. Look, this is really cool how there's all the colors in the rainbow, right? And there's all the colors of the rainbow here. Here, she's not going after them. Here, look, it's the little kid in her that wants to go after that. The adult version of her says, this isn't needed. This is where I am. I'll do that tomorrow. But the kid in her says, tomorrow is never going to come. I want to go there now. It seems like you are tired of this everyday ritual that you've been doing. This every day is the same. There's no color to your life. You want to chase after it. So stillness, right? A thing about the emotions that, especially nowadays, isn't really understood, I feel. And that's why everybody's so anxious and depressed, and that's such a huge problem, and nobody's happy, right? Is stillness. So what happens when you break a leg? Do you keep moving it? Do you keep walking around? Do you keep using it? No. Stillness, right? What can we learn from stillness? Well, stillness heals broken legs, right? So if you break a leg, the thing is, they tell you is don't move it, make it still so that it can heal and it can be better, and then you can move it again, right? Imagine emotions, or soul part of ourselves, is the same way. Emotions, when they get hurt, if you keep moving them, if you keep having to use those emotions, if you keep moving around, if you don't become still, right, then those emotions aren't going to heal. They're not going to figure out why they were there. They're not going to figure out how to get better. They're not going to figure out, what it is they want, why it is they're there. And stillness is where we can heal those emotions, heal the things that we've gone through. And that's why stillness is important, just as much as motion, right? Motion, if you keep motion, though, when you're hurt, it's just going to create more hurt, more pain, just like this person here. Sometimes you need stillness to be able to understand, to be able to become wealthy, right? It's not all about work. Stillness heals, and we need a good, strong version of ourselves to be able to keep moving and keep moving forward, not just be stuck in the same thing. But so go after it, you people. See, this is the universe. Now I hope that it makes more sense. Did I stutter? Did I stutter? Because you probably disagreed with a lot of the things that I said. But at the same time, that little kid in you is screaming for you to hear, for you to listen, for you to try to understand. And that's the little kid in you is the one that's saying, did I stutter? Even though you think is wrong, I am not stuttering. I probably stuttered, but life isn't stuttering. Life is going to keep creating things for you to try to understand, because that is what the soul part of you wants. That what this whole Hierophant is trying to teach you. Woo! All right. I hope some of that helped. I hope some of that made sense. I hope I wasn't just rambling to ramble. And if I was, well, I hope that helped me. I don't know. Wealth. This is related to wealth, I guess. Number 16. Okay, cool. Things happen. things happen. Surrender. Surrender to this did I stutter. Instead of fighting and saying it's not true, surrender. Right? Pam at first struggled to let the lady know that they are not the van of Hallelujah Church of Scranton. She tried to control and correct the situation with no success, but there was nothing that needed to be corrected. After being tired of the events that are happening, right? This guy's tired. She ceases to struggle and just lets the old lady in the van. It's almost like this person is struggling, wanting to go in, but keeps saying no, but keeps struggling, right? Surrender. Just go in there. Just let it happen. Stop fighting and let what is happening happen. Relax, let go. Do not be scared. Be relieved. Do not be scared. Be relieved. Do not be scared. Be relieved. Everything happens for a reason. There is no reaction needed. Stillness is what's needed. Drop the controller, sit back, and enjoy the show. Look at that. This is you saying no again. like you can't. I did not script this. No, this is you saying no still. Alright, if you want to keep fighting, then I'm leaving. That's so funny. That's so funny. Alright, thank you for being here. Yeah, thanks. I hope you made it to the end of this. You probably turned it off by now because you were like, this guy's talking nonsense. Alright, but comment on all the nonsense that I've been talking. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why this can't happen. Tell me what about this is no. Tell life, you know. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to keep hanging out. If you want to keep hearing all my nonsense, it's pretty fun. We have a good time here, and we are just trying to enjoy life a little more, especially during this time. So thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Hello! If you chose Android 18, welcome to your reading. Take a seat, sit back, and relax. There is nothing else that you need to do except to relax, listen, and enjoy. Yeah, so we are starting off with number 18, I think it is. This is it's hard to see the number, and I didn't even do that on purpose. It's the only card in my deck that you can't really tell that it's hard to see the number. And I think even though it had been an accident, even though I don't know why I did that, or I didn't change it, or why maybe it looked good on the computer, but when I printed it out, it didn't look good. But I think coincidences, everything happens for a reason. So this is my Today is About Today card. This is when he sees Holly again, and they have a good time, and he had the urge to tell her that he's still in love with her and that he wants to be with her. But she is with AJ right now. She is with another person. And, when he was about to say it, he ended up not saying it. Because he said that it was going to take a long time, and then it's perfect. That there was no rush. They were a long story couple, And everything was happening the way it needed to be happened. And it was going to take a long time. He said he was in no rush. That he knew that if it was meant to happen, it would happen. And eventually it did, but it took a long time. It was hard to see, right? What he wanted was to be with her. But during this time, it was hard to see that happening in that moment, in that present moment, right? It was going to take more than a couple days for it to finally happen, if it does happen. So it's kind of hard to see, just like this number is hard to see. So whatever it is that you want, your reward, I am sorry to tell you. Oh my God, I just noticed Android 18, and this is card number 18, bro. Look at that. How fucking cool is that, right? So see, I know it sucks to hear that it's not happening right now, and it's not happening soon. It's gonna take some time, but coincidences. You will see the coincidences, right? And it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be something It's going to be literally something better than what you could have ever imagined. Things will line up very beautifully, just like it did for Michael Scott, you know. But like, if you plant a seed today, you can't expect the flower to be there tomorrow, right? This is a very human card. This is things take time here. There's time, right? In our soul part and the God part of ourselves, there is no time, right? That is why they are eternal, because there is no time. They are always just there. Things, you know, you could think of it as well as what's it called, lucid dreaming, right? I don't think I've consciously done it, but maybe I have. But point is, lucid dreaming, or like in, I don't know if you've seen Black Clover, but there's a character in there that she has a dream land, a dream dimension that she takes people to, right? And it's her own. And anytime she thinks of something, it pops up and appears just right there, just like that, right? That's how our soul lives life, right? They think of something and it happens. But humans are different. There is time here, and things take time. And for you to create something, it takes time, right? For you to grow, it takes time. Like I see, to grow into a flower, it takes time, right? Everything takes time in this human dimension, human world, human universe. But it almost helps you appreciate the thing even more, right? When you grow a flower, right, and you start from the very beginning, and you slowly water it every day, and you slowly, you know, see it grow slowly, so slowly, and then when the flower finally blooms, you kind of appreciate it a lot more than if you just said "Go flower" and it's there. You know, so it kind of teaches us something different. It teaches us more about love. It teaches more of us about appreciating the things that we want. Just like Michael very much appreciates Holly, you know, and mostly because he knew during this time he didn't have her, right? So he knew how much better it would be with her, and how much worth it would be, even if it would take time. You know, he would rather have Holly at the end of the day, after a long 7 days, say, than to have someone he didn't want right now, right? Someone who wasn't good for him right now, someone he didn't love right now. So cool. It's gonna take a bit, but it's gonna be so worth it. Love is so worth it. Everything is so worth it when you find love. That's one of my cards, and I hope it pops up at the end of the reading, right? Because I always do advice at the end of the reading from the Office Oracle deck, and I hope that card pops up, because that would make this reading that much more special. Even though it already began, honestly, 18, right? Look at that, 6 of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. Cool. Yeah, this is what you want, right? 6 of Pentacles is literally the 6s are the home, where you would where all the elements find their home in the 6s. We all find our home in the 6s, right? When it goes to, like, say, 7s and 8s, things get a little more distorted. This is like you going away from home towards work, right? Or something, or a challenge, or I don't know, a sport game. Right? That's when you leave home, you are less safe, right? You don't know what's going to happen. When you are at home, you know most likely what is going to happen, right? But when you leave home, then you are more vulnerable. But vulnerability helps with growth, right? I mean, Michael is being very vulnerable there. He decided not to say anything. He decided to keep his feelings down, because out of respect for her and AJ as well, you know. But deep down, he knew the High Priestess is the one that knows. He knew that if she really was for him, that eventually life will get her back towards him, you know. He trusted. This is what the High Priestess is. She's the one that trusts. She's that inner knower. And she reminds me, for some reason, of Android 18 right now. They both look the same here. Nice. This is using both the negative and the positive to, the 2. But the 6s, the 6 of Pentacles, is literally everything you could ever have, you know, that safe home, that safe place. And that's Holly to Michael, right? Holly is Michael's home, his safe place. The High Empress, the High Priestess, is that safe place. I think I'm gonna. I don't get the High Priestess much. I haven't seen the High Priestess much, so I haven't read a lot of the High Priestess, if I'm honest. And I wonder why that is. I think it's because the things that pop up are the ones that you need to learn the most, the things that you don't know the most, right? So, because I am more of a feminine, on the feminine side than the masculine. At least that's where my natural state would rather be, right? I would rather be in a safe home than be at war. Doesn't mean I don't know how to fight. I will defend myself and the things I love, right? But my home is gonna be chill and calm. There's not gonna be fighting in my home, like that's something that I heard from my family even, right? Because they fight a lot, and it's normal for them to fight a lot. She says it's normal for families to fight. No, I don't think it should be normal for families to fight. I want to feel safe at my home, and I don't feel safe in this home. So I will start defending myself because I would like to be in a safe home. and as to me in a safe home, there's no fighting, just unnecessary fighting, like, please, come on. So see, that's me being more feminine than masculine, right? Masculine goes out and conquers an adventure. It's all about movement. I would rather be in a still safe place, learning, creating things. That's more feminine than masculine, right? Creation, the women are the ones that create the child, right? The sperm is given to them from the masculine, but the woman is what creates this crazy cool new thing out of the sperm, and that is kind of the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is your intuition, the cool mystery dreams. See, I'm a Pisces, so I'm very dreamy. I like to think a lot. That's probably why I have anxiety, but I have a lot of cool things that I think about, and I have a hard time materializing them, though. So the High Priestess is very far from human. She is not very materialized. She is that she's like this space between the words, right? And the words wouldn't be able to be there without that space. She is like in an Etch-a-Sketch, right? You can't write on the Etch-a-Sketch if you don't have the whole board, right? Same with a painting. If you don't have that white canvas, you can't have something to paint on, right? And you paint on the same canvas. So that canvas, when it's white, when it's that white canvas, has the potential to be literally anything that you would like to paint on it. So all of those descriptions are trying to describe the High Priestess. So imagine the home. I would love to be in a home with the High Priestess because she cares, she nurtures, she is that stillness. She is what else is she? She's divine wisdom. Cool. Here, I'll just read a little bit about the High Priestess. It says that she represents our relationship with our inner world. She is our faculty of intuition. So if the feminine is the inner, right, the masculine is the outer, right? Sometimes you go inside, sometimes you go outside. I would like to be inside. But then again, I would like to be out in nature, right? But that's not the same as all right, I'll keep reading. The High Priestess is the voice that calls out from the depths. Equipped with knowledge of all that is hidden, our true natures, spirituality, she is like the truth and the self. Her task is to teach us how we can illuminate our dreams, fantasies, and fears with the light of awareness. How cool is that? A moon, right? The answers you seek can be found within. Among the bustle of everyday life, there's a peaceful core that unflinchingly knows your inner truth. This wisdom is your compass. What is your intuition trying to tell you? If conventional methods of problem solving are not working for your creative, professional, or personal projects, what does your gut say? This is about your unconscious. Explore it. Keep a dream journal, and understanding patterns and common symbols in your dreams can be a helpful starting point for developing a deeper connection to your inner self. So notice how she's never going to tell you this answer straight up. She's always going to be telling you in your dreams. She's going to be telling you with symbols. She wants you to understand, right? Because, if she just tells you how things are, what to do, then You'll be like a robot, just doing as you're being told, right? That's the masculine. The guidelines, rules, right? Do as you say. But the high priestess is just the opposite. Very watery movement, right? And cool. Yeah, I'll move on. I already forgot what this reading was about. Slow down. Cool. Literally what we've been talking about. We want it now. Well, no, you gotta slow down, right? Imagine telling a seed, be a flower now. The seed's gonna be like, slow down, bro. I gotta take my time. Awareness. We just said that word with the high priestess. That inner awareness. That is the high priestess back there, behind the curtains, right? Cool. Interesting. Home. Cool. The high priestess feels like home. God probably feels like home. God probably feels like home. Yeah. That loving, mothering home. Oh no, not the light. No. How funny is that, huh? She is the inner light, that inner awareness. Cool. Do we want light or do you want to be in the dark? Because I have this light, but I hate how it shines on this. I think we're gonna stay in the dark because that is where the high priestess lives. This is cool. See, coincidences. That's kind of a coincidence, huh? That in this one, because I've been using this for 2 readings already, and those readings went long, and I don't usually go extremely long with all of my readings, right? But the first 2 went a little longer. Usually, like, my first reading or 2 is a little longer, but then the further I go down the zodiacs and stuff, the shorter they are. But I've been talking a lot, and so this light has been being used, has been used quite a bit today, because I've been rambling, and so, see, coincidences, that usually doesn't happen. This light probably would have been fine for this reading, and I probably would have charged it after this reading. But it probably would have been fine if I didn't ramble on for the other 2 readings. So that's cool. It's in the dark. See, you are in the dark right now. Holly isn't there with you. And it feels dark, but that's okay. That is how things are. How cool is it that Holly kind of looks like Android 18 as well? Coincidences. See, the one behind, the one that knows, is laughing. This is funny. Slow down. Okay, that's cool. Tower, okay. See, more darkness, right? But that's where the high priestess lives. That's where she shines. That's where it's very obvious, right? Where the light is when you are in the dark. There's one source of light in a dark room. It's kind of very obvious where that source of light is coming from, right? Imagine there's a bunch of flashlights and you're trying to find your own, but there's a bunch of lights, right? It's kind of hard to find your own light when you are in the middle of a bunch of different lights. But it's very obvious to find your light if you are in darkness. Cool. It's very easy to find your home, right? When you are in darkness, it's very easy when you compare. Just like right now, right? It's very obvious that our political system doesn't work and that the ones in control aren't looking the best, don't want the best for us. They just want the best for themselves, right? It's very obvious right now. Why? Because it's so dark. So it's very obvious that there's no light up there. It's obvious that there's no light in our political system and the people that we let be in control. So it's very obvious when the light does appear. It's gonna be very obvious when the light appears. That is a high priestess. Cool. And the tower, it's gonna be very obvious what works, right? Tarot is all about bringing a structure down. So whatever is left, whatever doesn't get torn down, right? Then that's our awareness, our high priestess. That's gonna be what works. Wealth. 10 of discs. Cool. Imagine seeing all this darkness as wealth because it led you straight to the light. So cheesy, but that's what wants to be said, right? Imagine wealth of this home. Home is very obvious during a tower movement. The ones that actually feel love for you is very obvious, right? It should be very obvious, especially when there's so much going wrong. That darkness, Michael. Same with appreciating Holly. It's very easy. Maybe we learn more appreciation for the good things, for that awareness, for that high priestess, for the things that don't leave us. Get appreciated more. That home maybe gets appreciated more. Look at that. At the end of the day, there's wealth. I don't know if I was too, if it's so like a negative reading, but it didn't to me. I don't know. I hope. But I felt like I was saying a lot of negative stuff, right? We're even in darkness. But, I mean, we're laughing and smiling throughout. Because we know it's part of life. We know we go through these bad times. To know what good it is, right? Like Adam and Eve, they had it really good. If we are looking back at it now, right? Imagine living in a place where you have all the food you want, where you can hang out with a bunch of cool animals, right? There is no danger. You don't die. Everything good, right? There's just this one bad thing, right? The apple and knowing. But did they see the knowing, knowledge, apple? So they didn't know they were in heaven, right? They didn't know they were in the Garden of Eden. They didn't know that they were in a really cool place until they found the devil, right? Until they found bad. And now they know the good between good and bad. So knowing both, you can't know one without the other. And you can so just sit here and cry. If you are going through a hard time, it is okay to just sit there and cry. Don't be afraid to just sit there and cry. It's how cool is it that you can experience something that makes you cry, and then you can experience something that makes you laugh. You can experience something that makes you feel loved, and just like I was talking about the two different experiences, and now you know the difference. Now you know that when you do experience love, now you know it as love because you experienced this hard time and you experienced it as a hard time. So yeah, that's the knowing. It comes with both. You got to know both to know one or the other. You can't just know it without experiencing it as well. So that is the high priestess. She has experienced both, but at the end of the day, she knows who she is. She knows she is not bad. She knows she is not good. She is the one that does both. She is the one behind it all. She is that awareness that feels both, that is both, that she is not just bad. She is not just good. She is who she is. I am who I am. Right? Yeah, this is who you are, right? That inner Pammy. This is your inner confidence. This is literally the High Priestess card in my deck, actually, now that I think about it. I don't even see it that way, but this is very much that. This is that there's Stanley hidden in the background. This is that inner awareness hidden in the background. Here, let me see. I think see that inner confidence. This is the one that knows. Channel your inner Pammy. Your inner Pammy wants to come out. Be more honest. Be more confident. High Priestess is honest and confident. Start telling people what you want directly. Interesting how that comes at the very end when Michael didn't tell Holly what he wanted directly. He waited. He knew, right? He knew. But later he did tell her what he wanted directly. But anyways, this is a card to say, look out world, because old Pammy is getting what she wants. Except don't call her Pammy. Interesting. Maybe you don't even have to go through that waiting stage. Because that waiting stage for Michael, it's to learn and appreciate Holly. But maybe me just saying these words is enough to get to you to where you need to be. And maybe you need to be more honest and be confident. And, screw waiting. Screw it being a long story. You want your home. And if you know and will love your home and appreciate it at its best, right? Life will bring you that home. Because why would life bring you that home whenever you're not going to appreciate it? During a time that you're not going to appreciate it, right? Life brings you that home at the perfect moment. And honestly, why can't that perfect moment be now? especially you've already gone through this, or you know, maybe you don't need to go through it because you just need to know and understand it. Cool. I hope this reading helped. I feel like something might have. Comment if it did. Comment if it didn't. Comment on any questions, concerns. Comment on the darkness. I don't know. Comment on what that light is. But like the video. Because please, please like it. If it helped. If it didn't help, please like it so you can and comment on why it didn't help. Just interact with this video, please. And subscribe if you want to keep hanging out. Yeah, we want to have fun. We want to figure out what this life is about and have fun while we are doing it. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Hello. If you picked Super Saiyan Gohan, welcome to your reading. I absolutely love Gohan. He is literally one of my favorite characters of all of the Dragon Ball characters. I just wish there was more of him. He kind of fell off, you know. But I absolutely love the design of the Beast, Gohan, with like the purple-ish hair. I absolutely love that design, and I absolutely love what they're doing with Gohan with that. He wanted to find a different way than his dad, and he's figuring out his own way, right? He was doing different, instead of following his dad's footsteps on like God, Super Saiyan, and stuff like that, on Ultra Instinct. Gohan is trying to figure it out on his own, in his own different way, and that's when he discovered this beast Gohan. And that is literally what this card is about as well, right? There's no road here. There's no one right way to live life, right? There's no one right way to be a Super Saiyan. There's no road here. There's no guidelines. There's no one right way. You make your own way, right? Just as, same with the Goku, Super Saiyans were a myth before Goku. But Goku found his way, found his own way, because he was, one of the first ones to figure it out. So, yeah, same with Gohan, right? Same with you. You probably don't want to do it your parents' way, right? But you want to find your own way, especially during these times, because if we do things our parents' way, well, that life doesn't work anymore. That way of thinking doesn't work anymore, because life is changing so fast, and it's changing so fast that we got to find a different way, right? Same way doesn't work. So yeah, there's no one right way to speak a language, right? There's no one right language. There's no one right religion. It's just different perspectives, different way of doing things. It's just different languages, different way of expressing oneself, right? Yeah, Gohan is a beast. He's one of my best. Cool. Okay. 10 of Wands. So this is suppression. This is heavy burden type of energy. And as you can see, she is blindfolded. She has two options, but she doesn't like either of them. She wants to say no. I see it's in an X. But there is a third option. These two options make her feel like a heavy burden, right? Imagine being told you have two options and having to pick one, but neither of the options is your deal, right? It's like me with the politics, right? They always give us two options for president, but we don't want neither of them. We want someone else. Right? There's two options in life. I don't know what these two options are. It could be two different people. It could be two different jobs. It could be two different way of beings, right? It could be like we've been talking about, right? It could be your mom's way of being in life and your dad's way of being in life, but you don't want neither. You want your own. You want that third one, right? In the far off distance, there's land. There's something else back there that has not been explored. So if these options both feel like a burden, for both feel like they'd weigh you down, both make you feel like you wouldn't have freedom, you wouldn't be yourself, then look for that third option. There's always a third option, right? This is also kind of explaining us, right? Are you your emotions? Are you your mind? Well, you're neither. You're the one, the third one, right? You're the one that does both, right? Is being good all the time, right? What even is good, right? Or being bad all the time, right? Maybe you want to mix up both, right? You want all comfort or all challenges. Well, the best is a mix of both. The best is the third option. This also almost feels like, you have cold and you have hot, but there's also a temperature in the middle that's neither cold or hot, right? There's neither extremes. But there is something else. There is another way of doing things. There is your own way of doing things. So screw doing things other people's way. Let's find our own. Because our own is what's going to make us go Super Saiyan. If we follow other people's ways, it's going to feel like a burden, and it's going to feel like a shitty life, a heavy life, because you don't want to live it. Your soul came to be a human to do certain things that would make it, it felt fun, like it would do, But when the human self starts picking other things, because when you turn human, you see what everyone else chose, and you're like, oh, maybe I should have chosen that one. Oh, maybe I should have been with that partner instead, But ultimately, there's something that you would choose, that your soul chose for you, that it really wanted to do, and that's where you find the most love. That's where life feels the most free, like less of a burden, where life doesn't feel so heavy, where life feels light. And I know you felt it here and there. I know you've felt it. So think about those times. Think about those things that make you feel that way. That doesn't make you feel this way, This is saying, don't go to where it makes you feel this way. Go to where it makes you feel light. Right? These two ran into a pond because they were following the directions of the GPS, and the GPS was wrong. Or maybe Michael was wrong in the way it followed the directions, right? Are we robots? Right? Because robots just follow directions. But humans, we want to be free. We want to have that free will. But yeah, Michael, literally, they drove right into a lake because he was following the directions of someone else instead of going with what, his gut was, with what he wanted, with where he thought they should be going. I like that. All right. The miser, cool. These have the same type of energy. And the lovers, okay. Why are these two together? Are they showing you? I think this is like showing you your options. You can be on your own, carrying all of these 10 wands, right? Mine, mine, mine. See the miser with all her treasure, mine, mine, mine. Or you can share. There can be two instead of one. You can, same with, you can listen to one, just your emotions. You can listen to one, just your mind, just your thoughts. Or you can listen to both. Right? There's love when there's two. When there's only one, it's just, it's not as fun. Connections are fun. Connections mean freedom, huh? It's cool though how both of them look like they're hogging all the stuff they have, hogging their burdens. But look at that. But this is no fun. This is no fun. We want love. We want love. Love is important. Love is the right direction, right? Love is where the road is. Where the road is, you will find love. So create your own road. Create your own love. And then share it with people. Because that's what love is for. There's two. There is literally something to deal with one and a bunch and two. What else? 3 of discs with works. And the ace of discs with his potential. Okay, cool. Three of Pentacles. Three of Discs. We end with the discs, so it has been materialized. This third option has been materialized. This third option works. We used to be in the old belief where only this or that would work, but this third option also works. There's a lot of potential here, and you create it yourself, this third option, and so there's no guidelines, there's no formulas. It's just you make it whatever you want it to be, and that's what life is all about, right? Making life whatever you want it to be. Yeah, see, there's such a little guideline here that I already feel like stopping. I feel like if I keep rambling, it's getting in the way. It's literally the GPS talking you into a lake. The more I talk, right? You gotta trust yourself. You gotta make your own road. Yeah, and so this is gonna be a very simple, short reading because I don't call the rules. I don't call the shots. I don't tell you what's going on. You do. You know. And I trust in you. I believe. 38. Cool. This is my Guten Pranken, right? For the whole show. For literally the whole show, Jim would pull pranks on Dwight. Right? But towards the end of it, he decided, for this bachelor party, I'm gonna do pranks, but I'm gonna do good pranks, right? I'm gonna do things that seem like they're pranking him, do things that seem bad, do things that seem like things will go wrong, but they're not going to. It's to realign yourself, right? It's to relove yourself. It's to reconstruct what life is supposed to be about. Right, and this happened multiple times. This happened. In this scene specifically, he thought he was gonna get beaten down with a bazooka, but Dwight ended up being the one that does the beating down, and he's getting to fire the bazooka. Right. He also takes him to a bar where Kevin works. Right, and Dwight fired Kevin, but so there was bad blood in between them. But just like Jim said, on his wedding day, he deserves to be the best. He deserves to be the happiest. He deserves to be able to appreciate it, for there to be no worries or no bad blood, right? And he knew Dwight missed Kevin, and obviously Kevin missed Dwight. And they finally talked. They hatched things out. They explained their love to each other, basically. And things ended up being good, right? They ended up being homies again. So it's all a good prank. Things that seem to go wrong, but they're literally taking you right towards this land, right towards where you belong. 39. 38, 39. Look at that. Look at that progress. Go after what you want. That's what this card is all about. Here is a quote from Pam that'll literally summarize this reading. It says, this is from Pam. She said, "I kept wanting to scream at Pam. It took me so long to do so many important things. It's just hard to accept that I spent so many years being less happy than I could have been. Jim was 5 feet from my desk, and it took me 4 years to get to him. Be strong. Trust yourself. Love yourself. Conquer your fears. Just go after what you want and act fast, because life isn't that long." So thank you so much for being here. I hope this helped. I really hope it did. He's direct you right towards where you deserve to be. And that is surrounded by love. So thank you for being here. I hope it helped. Please help me as well with a like. Please comment on anything that was said, on any concerns, any questions, anything you would like to just chat about. We are friends here, and this is a safe place. And subscribe if you would like to keep hanging out, because it's all about fun and just me sharing, right? Sharing my love. So thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.